Ow.
Classic.
Yes. It's great that be freezing up on me. James Donahue. James Donahue. Hanging out here today with my
Can
friend
you see
James.
me? Can you hear me? Papa, can you hear me?
Man, it's cool to be able to like catch up and hang out, man. I always have a good time. I always have it's hanging out with you is even just talking to you on the phone. It's full of smiles, and I can like I talked to my old friend Danny Hill, and every time I talk to him on the phone, he goes, "It's great to hear your smiling voice," and
Same with you,
that's
brother.
it's a good way to chat with you. It's like I know that when we're talking, you're smiling and you're having a
Of
good
course.
time.
I have
And you're
everything to smile
yes, it's always a fun time, man. Whoa,
on. I appreciate that. All right.
I
Hey,
like I
anytime,
like
man.
your I like your spirit. It's very it's very it's very fun and very positive.
Oh, I'm a big time dude. You know I'm a big time geek. I always will be. I'm an overgrown kid. And I think that's why I look the way I do it, even as, at my age. And I think that's the biggest thing.
Dude,
You got to have fun in life, man. You got to have fun in life. I've had my ups and downs. I've seen how evil Hollywood is personally, and it almost killed me. It very nearly killed me. I can tell you this: Diddy is the tip of the iceberg.
Diddy, Diddy,
Yep. Did he do it? Yes. Yes, he did.
mo money, mo problems.
Yeah.
Mo
And
money.
where I see that the district attorney, or the prosecuting attorney, is one of the, I don't know, sometimes PTSD, LSD, yeah, LSD. Okay, PTSD, ADHD, all that stuff. Man, I don't have issues. I have freaking subscriptions, and I admit it. Um,
It's
but they said
any
that,
any initials you can throw at it. Throw those initials at it.
well, I tell you, we have a great game that I play with my friends,
What's that?
and it's called Rune It. You ever hear of Rune It? It's like Cards Against Humanity.
No, I haven't never heard of it.
Oh, you would love it. So you have to take one word, and then you have to, with 4 words, you have to ruin it. I'll give you an example, like church,
Hmm.
and I would be whoopee cushion, alternate pews.
Hmm.
Think about it, especially in the Catholic Church, because we're going up and down all the time, and you
Oh
have them
yeah.
alternate. So they're not all at the same time. So
Sit, stand, kneel. Sit, stand, kneel. Sit, stand, kneel. Sit, stand, kneel.
yeah, yeah, yeah. What do they call it? Catholic calisthenics.
Catholic calisthenics. Yeah.
Crazy thing. By the way, I just want to. I just had the craziest thing happen here in West Virginia. Um, I'm a Knight of Columbus. I'm a third degree Knight of Columbus, and I was in church with my daughter, and on Sunday, and this woman, you know my background, former military and civilian cop. So the homeless person was in the very first row, like right before you're actually up on the Blessed Sacrament, and the priests are up there.
Right.
And she was acting really irrational, like really strange. It almost seemed like she was mocking. And sure enough, I knew she was going to do it. She made a beeline right for the priest.
Mhm.
And I went and I'm like, no, no, no. And I turned her around and she did this to me, like tried to hit me. And I'm like, okay, you need to go. Taking her stuff, she grabs all her bags and stuff and leaves. And as I make sure she goes out of the church, the craziest thing happened is that, and funny, there's a scene in Dracula like this. She literally goes like this: "Don't follow me," and she goes, "You don't know who I am." And I went, "Yeah, I know who you are. You don't scare me."
I know enough at this point.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like, look,
I'm
my God
full up
fights
with the
for me,
amount I
man.
need
I
to
don't worry
know
about
about.
that stuff. I don't worry about that stuff. But I found out. Interesting, even crazier is, I found out my uncle, my mom's twin, was an assistant exorcist in Germany after World War II. So how crazy is that?
Uh, I'm I'm trying to get certified so I can be an
As an
exorcist.
exorcist?
Yeah, yeah, but I like to exercise. It's I'm
Ah,
talking. I'm just making a silly joke, but yeah, that's really funny.
isn't that wild?
Yeah, that is very wild.
They asked
So
me to join the
have any
security
stories
team,
from your uncle? Has he ever
for the
told you any
church
funny
too.
stories?
What's that?
Has your uncle ever told you any funny stories of
No, we
exorcisms?
never even mentioned it.
Hmm.
We found out afterwards. He was a
Okay.
Monsignor, and not one of the bad ones.
Now,
So, but
did he get a Monsignor Citizens discount for
yeah,
breakfast?
I'm sure they do. Oh, hey, if you ever get a chance to come up here, we have this great place called Giovanni's, and it's owned by a Recon Marine. Dude, you can, especially like, you would love this. It is 1 full pound of Angus beef, like you get at a steakhouse.
Hmm.
Mushrooms, little salt, little pepper, little cheese. You have fries and a Coke, 10.99.
Whoa. Did you
And it's
ever
real
watch that?
food. It's not the other.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy. Did you
There
ever
was a guy.
watch that show?
Go ahead,
There's
man.
this there's this show on Hulu that's based off uh, uh, it's based off a Stephen King novel, and the show's
Yeah, I
called
got problems with Stephen King.
11/22/63. It's basically like James Franco fell into like this
Oh,
time warp that took him
I
back
can
to where.
tell you a lot about Mr. Franco. I know Jimmy. Jimmy knows me.
Okay,
Uh,
but
yeah,
but
I
the only
know
part
that he
that
was.
made me think of it was were you telling me about that food that like um
Yeah.
that like real food, because there's a part where like the guy who discovers the time warp, he goes back to a butcher shop and brings it to his current day diner and sells the meat, like the burgers are only like $2 or something, because he is able to get the meat cheap through the time warp.
Dude, I love RFK Jr. What he's doing with this. It's not real food. What did I see on TikTok? This guy put molten lava, dude, over a Big Mac.
And
It
it didn't
didn't
burn.
disintegrate. It just got black.
Hmm.
So tell me, how is that going to break down in your stomach?
uh, I Big Macs are not the same as Big Macs were when I was a kid, I'm sure of
Oh
it.
no! I remember when my flight when I was in basic, we used to all go out and when they had the Taco Bell, and they used to have 10-cent tacos, and we just clear them out. I mean, we're all like over 200 pounds, and uh, we would get like 30, 40 tacos, but it's not even real beef anymore. They can't even call them beef tacos. They don't call them beef tacos anymore because they have so much filler in them. There is no beef.
Did you see? I mean, I'm gonna unbox this crazy conspiracy stuff that I've been seeing on like McDonald's meat, like like something where like a mom found a kid's tooth, like who wasn't her kid had
Oh
no
no,
teeth.
no. I don't think it's Soylent Green, man, but I don't think it's good either.
Yeah,
Uh,
there's a
they actually, like, the flavors are not like the flame broiled flavor. They're chemicals.
It's bizarre.
So how's your movie career going, man? What have you been up to?
I haven't done any acting. I haven't done uh, really much. I just got back. I just got back on stage to do stand up comedy last night. I
How's that
did some
going?
stand up comedy last night. It was fucking so good. It was so fun. It was funny. It was good.
By the way, I'm
Uh,
working on my Trump.
what's that?
I've been working on my Trump.
Oh,
You
want to hit
know,
me?
Cory, you're very good, but you could be better.
See, you've got a thing that most people, not most people, but a lot of people, when they do a Trump, they're missing it because
Uh-huh.
Trump has this bass to his voice that people
Right.
forget to include. That
Right.
like he's got that rasp thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
People don't, for people neglect to include that in making their impressions of him. Like
That's fake news, and you know it.
I had this dream. I had this
Oh,
dream about them.
wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Go ahead.
You may, I hope it wasn't about me because I think Alyssa would be a little upset.
No, it wasn't about you.
So would I, because homie don't play that.
Yeah, same, same.
Red-blooded American MAGA baby.
But I was just saying I had this dream about Trump, like right when he first got elected
I'm
the first.
afraid. Cory, take your clothes off slowly.
It was just like just the way like comedians hang out at
Yeah,
like shows.
yeah,
I felt like I was hanging out with Trump, like like he was making me laugh. Like I thought he was
yeah.
funny. And then like since then, I've been like, well, he's kind of my homie. Like I don't even know him, but somehow I go like, I had this dream that he was a funny guy, and now I
Oh, he's
keep
hilarious.
thinking he's
He's
a funny
hilarious.
guy.
Just that broken. And he's a genuine guy. I know people that know him personally, and he's a genuine guy. And that we had a corpse for the last 4 years. Where's your excuse for that?
It's just
But
like
if I don't do my promotion, I'm gonna get my director's gonna be pissed off.
it's like it people are fed what they want, what the media wants them to feed them, and like that
Oh yeah,
it's weird how much stuff gets lost in the sauce and like gets kind of like misdirected, and it's not like the
and look, I'm gonna spell it out for you real easy because I was a victim of a malignant narcissist. Two, learned my lesson on that one, and I can tell you, the Democratic Party is a malignant narcissist. There's no doubt whatsoever. They gaslight you to believe that you're wrong all the time, that they are the only one who understand you. They are the only one that care about you, and that everybody else is lying to you. And if you'll love them, you will do this. If you did a checklist, I'll send it to you. There's a checklist of malignant narcissists. It is the Democratic Party. This is an abusive boyfriend. This is
this is the promo that John Cena cut when he turned heel. He's like, we're in an abusive relationship and I'm getting out of it. It's like
yeah.
I'm breaking up with you. That's John Cena's heel promo.
And see, the other thing too is I forget who said it, but they were 100% true. We didn't leave the party. The party left us. The party left us because they let the left-wing lunatics in there. And I mean, it's insane. Look at this. They had South Africans that their land was taken from them, and Trump just gave them status, and the Episcopal Church said, no, we're not going to help them for something grounds. It's racist. And it's not, and this is the other thing too that really ticks me off is the fact that they always talk about, oh, the immigrants. These, like that, the so-called Maryland man. Yeah, the Maryland man that was actually caught, who was caught in the car of a known child trafficker driving and said that was his boss. Okay, beat the living hell out of his wife. Was found with the tattoos. If you wear those tattoos and you're not MS-13, you're done. You're done. And the lunacy is just. I feel like it's a sketch because And I look back on, I look at Timothy, for example. And in Timothy, from the Bible, it says that good will become bad, bad will become good. What is going on right now? You know what? I'm the biggest rebel in the world right now. You know why? Because I'm Christian. I I love God. I'm MAGA, and I don't put up with crap. And I'm alpha, like you're alpha. You know that the Democratic Party. I was really, really, really pissed off, to be frank, when that clown, this big rumbly dumbly dude, like kind of like like a wrestler almost, right? And this woman is in a freaking walker, dude, and he's telling her she should kill herself. And the cops are there. They're not doing anything.
Still with me?
I'm still with you. Sorry about that, man. There's all kinds of stuff going on.
So,
Yeah, I'm still with you.
if we can switch gears, I know you said you wanted to do promotion for you wanted to, and you said
We actually.
the producer
I was
would
just
kill
kidding.
you if you didn't get to it.
No, that was a joke.
Better promote this
We
movie.
do jokes about this. We do everything. I've already been told the funniest thing is that some of the libs have started to threaten me, which that's always a good idea.
Threatening isn't like with the like you get more bees with honey kind of thing. Like we're we're grown beyond that.
Yeah, and also you personally know it. you know me, and you know that never works out. Oh, but so it's your show, man.
So
Fire away.
I would like I would like to know information on I want to hear stories from set. I want to hear the whole production stuff going into Dracula, things like that. Was there anything like that changed the way that you thought about filmmaking through this process? Any standout moments on set?
Absolutely, absolutely, and we actually have a making of video too.
Nice.
This was without a doubt the most friendly, and they're a family group. It's Scott DeShane, Glow Films, Andy Drescher, all of them. They're a family film. Um, I can use the difference between Dark Military and Dracula. When I was in with the Dark Military, I felt dirty. I felt evil. I felt the evil, and I didn't think there was any redeeming. Don't give me problems, give me solutions, and that's what we did.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we were just. It was funny that your timing was perfect because saying that. But no, there was one particular scene, and it was actually done like a. They were old school, and that was the other thing I liked. I've done green screen stuff, like Star Wars Precious Cargo. A lot of that was green screen, some was practical, but I like practical. I like to have, as an actor, I like to have something I can hold. I like to have something, you know what I mean?
Right.
That's why, like the Avengers and DC and all those, man, you're just playing against the green screen.
Right.
To me, it'd be boring, But they had actual practical. It was actually like a train trestle under a Christmas tree. They had the platform up, and they had me sitting on the platform or laying on the platform, and they had somebody underneath it to pull the thing out. and they used I think pudding, not pudding, but like chocolate mix for the dirt, or I don't remember how they did it, but it was so elaborate to get it done that it would have been a pain. They'd have to reset it if I messed my lines up. So one of the things that I do when I learn lines is it doesn't matter how busy the set is, and I'll get earplugs. I'll put my earplugs in, and I will go through my lines. And what I do is I write them over and over and over again as I say them. As I'm repeating them, I'm writing them down. Boom. It was interesting. Richard, I can't remember Richard's last name, on Talons of the Phoenix, when I was helping Darren Archer up. I was helping the actors prepare. And Richard Winton, he was on The Equalizer, did an amazing job, really nice guy, British guy. And there was one line he just couldn't get. And the line was that he found her among the debris of a British freighter. But he couldn't get that. And I said to him, I said, Rich, I said, when you're saying the line, I want you to picture her I want you to picture her in the ocean with all the debris. And it worked. So that was really cool. And he even gave me a shout out about it, which was awesome, because he's an amazing actor and he's done so much. He was on The Equalizer with Queen Latifah, a bunch of other stuff, but just a great guy. And Darren is really killing it, brother. You know Darren Archer.
I may, but I
Hello?
may not.
Can you? Can you do? He was the cop. He was the cop, one of the cops on. He and I go back to House of Cards days, and he's amazing. He actually literally saved my daughter's life when I was in California from her abusive mother till I could get to her. But yeah, they were really great. Oh, I will tell you this. So the scene in the graveyard, I'm in nothing but a leather jacket in the middle of a Pennsylvania winter. It's -3. I'm acting in -3 in a leather jacket, a flimsy leather jacket. And it was so cold that I remember Scott saying to me, you can't breathe. I said, what do you mean I can't breathe? He said, well, we're seeing the breath. I said, no, yeah, of course you are. I'm freezing my balls off here. But, it was fun. And there's actually a thing on the making of too on that. But anyway, with that big scene, you could feel the tension. And when I hit my mark and I did my lines, and I have it somewhere. I wish I could find it. The whole crew and everybody just erupt in applause. I mean, that was a real bucket list moment.
Nice.
But yeah, Dracula was amazing. I had so much fun. I ad-libbed a lot of stuff, and they let me ad-lib. Cool. And so I'm very happy.
That whole voice was yours the whole time? There was no modifications to that voice?
You mean this voice?
Yeah. That's cool, man. You've always loved working with different accents and voices and things like that.
Course,
so
of course,
it's really cool to see you be able to get to do something like that.
Oh yeah. I've done. I actually did for Jane, one of the guys in Philly. In the Dark Military, I did a BBC reporter voiceover on the first trailer, and I did another BBC for another film. I don't remember the name of it, unfortunately. But that was fun. Yeah, I love to do voices. The funny thing here is because I'm that kind of mimic, and I'm in West Virginia, I start becoming Southern.
You started becoming Southern down there?
Drives my daughter crazy. Like, how y'all doing? You don't even realize you're doing it. And I can do that. I can do Irish. I can do English. Like when we do the rosary, we do the Divine Mercy, which is a rosary we do at 3:00 every day. She's doing it today. For some reason, I'm doing it in an English accent. I don't know why. It just seems easier to do it in an English accent. I don't know
It
if that's the
seems
spirit of it or whatever.
fancier. It seems fancier.
Yeah. For the sake of the sorrowful passion. I can do it Irish too. For the sake of his sorrowful passion, have mercy on us and on the whole world.
It seems official. It seems very official.
For the sake of his sorrowful passion, have mercy on us and on the whole world. Speaking
Are
of
you
what?
speaking of? Go ahead.
I can also do Christopher Walken.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that before. I've heard you doing
You
that.
know, it's great to talk to you today. And I can do Barney too, because when my kids were younger, I did Barney all the time. I'd be like,
You and
"Hi,
Barney are about
everybody."
the same size.
Huh?
I said you and Barney are probably around the same size.
Yeah, probably. But that's nothing. My good friend Josh Murray, he's like 6'5", and he's got a great film called Gym Rat. He's another guy you should probably get on. Great guy. He was on General Hospital. I interviewed him for my iHeartRadio show. Oh, Cory, you know what's really funny? And we were just talking about this.
Mm-hmm.
But my iHeartRadio show was blowing up with Joey. And then when I said, I'm no longer a Democrat, it disappeared. Isn't that strange?
Uh, yeah, yeah, it really is. It really
It's
is.
like wait a minute, I did this for 5 years and you can't find me on there. You could find that there were shows, but you can't find me. The only thing I have is I think I have the Monica Potter interview, and I have when I interviewed Blair Underwood. I think that's about it. So I can prove I was on iHeart, and I have some like on the street interviews, and I interview. Oh, I'll tell you who you would love to have on, and you and he would get along really great, and I can set it up for you. Is Rodney Allen Rippey.
Okay.
Rodney Allen Rippey was big in the '70s. Like he had his own variety show. He was the lead in Oh God, Book One, and he worked with Mel Brooks.
Nice.
Yeah, and great guy. He's got his own podcast too.
Yeah. Any connections you can get for me, James? I would love that.
Of course.
I hope and I want to say this to you on the record right now while we're here. I want to say if I could ever be a useful resource to you, if you just want if anything at all, if you think of me and you go, hey, that'd be somebody who I think would be really good for that. You can always call me. You can always text me if you ever feel like.
Actually, I think I just told you a minute ago, but I have investors I'm working with, and also a significant other who shall remain nameless, at least for the time being.
Nameless significant.
She would kill me. She would kill me dead.
Okay.
She would kill me dead. But yeah, it's kind of like when it happens, it's probably going to be one of those holy S moments.
Okay.
But anyway, the point I was trying to make is what we're doing is by the way, that's another guy you should have on here. He would be great. He was an investigative reporter and also a screenwriter. And he actually is my writing partner for our movie Perspective, which is finally happening. My murder mystery suicide prevention film.
Mm-hmm.
You can always play Jesus in the next Easter thing. I'm sure that there'll be somebody looking for that.
I'm going to show you what my hair currently looks like because it's beautiful. I'm going to show you how beautiful my hair currently looks because you'll be like, holy shoot, that's crazy. That's.
Yeah, you definitely got the look.
It's kind of a mess right now, but it's pretty.
You froze up on me, brother. What do you got? I got Xfinity, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but it's pretty good. Uh,
All I see
the
is your hair.
the weird part is this camera. It freezes a lot because it's like a very it's very like very high
Yeah,
resolution. It's
yeah.
very high resolution, so it freezes a lot. I have to have it plugged externally, and
Do you have what?
even
Are we on 1080p
yeah,
or 5 or 4K?
we're on 1080, I believe, or maybe
Okay,
720. But
okay.
it's just the the resolution of this camera is like too much for the computer to handle. I have to get like a better computer.
Refurbies.
Yeah.
Go to You know what refurbies are?
No. No.
You get refurbished computers. Like you can get an Apple, pretty decent price too.
Dude, I
It's
miss
they,
having an Apple computer, really. Like when I started doing this podcast from my computer, I was doing it. I still have the MacBook Pro down here, but I don't use it anymore because it like it hit its scheduled obsolescence as far as like not being able to update the operating system anymore. So I
they
had
did that on purpose, right?
right, of course, so that you would spend more money on the new stuff. Yes.
But see, I actually have, and it was online, and honestly, I thought it was a bunch of BS. But there were a bunch of engineers who worked for the cell companies, and what they did is they saw where they're actually putting viruses in the phones
Right.
to suck on your battery. That's why your battery won't come out. That's why you can't just buy a battery anymore. And if you notice, every time you get an update on your phone, it's when there's a new model coming. But this thing, I'll have to find a name for it, but like $40. But my daughter has an iPhone. I have the Pixel 7a, which, by the way, excellent phone, 4K, everything. But my daughter and my girlfriend both want me to switch to Apple, to the iPhone. But
Yeah,
I'm a Droid guy for a long time.
I've been team iPhone for probably I don't know. I have an iPhone.
But you have to pay for everything. And actually, uh, Droid just came out with a huge thing against Apple because Apple's was using Droid's technology, I think software, and they just stopped them from using it.
Hmm.
So the
Interesting.
Droids are actually going to get better.
I at the comedy club last night. This guy made this whole bit about iPhone users being better looking people than Android users, and
Really?
he was like everybody
Okay.
who's everybody who's got an iPhone, raise your hand. And I raised my hand, and he was like, "See, better looking than all these guys." And I was like, "Well,
What are you trying to tell me, Cory?
well, you weren't there. You weren't there, James. You weren't there. Had
Are
you
you
been
saying
there, I would have been
I
sure.
could excuse the argument? Yeah, my daughter's always complaining about my picture. She says, "You look orange." Well, there's a thing you can change. I like to play around with my pictures and adjust and everything. She says, "I can always tell. You go too far and then you look strawberry." I'm like, "What? How am I going to win?" I have this thing called you would like. It's called Pick Magic, and what Pick Magic does, I think it's like $9 for the year, and you can do everything on it, dude. You can like your old still. It'll take your old videos. It'll
Mhm.
upgrade them for you. It'll also you can do all kinds of crazy things. You can actually take two different photos. Like I did this with my mother, because my mother was killed when I was a year old. I take one of her old photos, and I took my photo, and she was hugging me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and my sister's like, it doesn't really look like her, and that's not the point. I love
How
my
old?
family, but there are some. I got to tell you, dude, I took so much pushback because I don't know if you remember, I did an anti-Trump video. We did an anti the first time I did an anti-Trump video.
No, don't
Um,
remember
yeah,
that.
and it was me being a deportation officer, taking the poor Muslim women away from her children, and but so, and I've worked with drag queens. I did Bad Cupid Cabaret.
Mhm.
Uh, you know, so, and I actually have. They're mad at me now, but I have relatives that are trans. My nephew is trans, which that threw me off. But and I realize those things, but at the same time, you're pushing everything. There's there in the majority of it. I mean, you listen. Okay, here's an example. I'm going to show you a thing. Ready?
Mhm.
Okay. Here's a Republican woman. Here is a liberal woman. See the eye? They all have the crazy eyes. Am I wrong? Watch them. It's like they all have the crazy eyes, and
For
it's
for
fun.
the for the audio only listeners, he was doing crazy eyes for the Republic or for the Democrat woman, and not crazy eyes for the
Yeah,
Republican woman.
yeah.
Just to
Oh,
give the
yeah.
descriptors to the people who only intake the audio and not watch the video.
Okay. In the audio, what I'm saying is this: if you look at every liberal, especially when they're spouting their propaganda and they're attacking Teslas and all that, they all look like the runaway bride. You know what I mean? They all have that crazy eye. God, I know you know as well as I do. We know these women, groupies, that kind of crap. We look into their eyes, and you're like, oh hell no. I'm sure Alyssa counters it. You're still wrestling?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
How's that going?
I just opened a wrestling school. I'm gonna start. I'm training students now. So I'm really excited about being a coach and kind of being a role
Alyssa,
model for these up and coming wrestlers and teaching them a way that I've been wrestling for 23 years now, and I've
right.
never trained anybody from the ground up, and I'd like to have the opportunity to do that. I'd like to pass on some of this experience, some of this knowledge, and show people that
I'm
they
gonna
can.
give you some knowledge. I think that's awesome, man. I'm going to give you some knowledge, and the general audience wants to know. We all know about the Illuminati and about Hollywood, the Masons, and all the rest of that stuff. You there?
Yeah,
Okay.
I,
If
I
you
have
want to know
I
who's
have
in the
Mason
club,
jars. I have lots
look
of
up
Mason
every
jars.
celebrity that's ever. Yeah, not like that. Um, Trust me, I was. That's one of the reasons they tried to destroy me, bro. I've gone to clubs where I've like had to. Thank God I learned to puke in the academy because I've gone to clubs where all of a sudden I started getting lightheaded and I got the hell out of there.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. Anyway, if you want to know if a celebrity is part of the problem, watch how they look for any picture of them covering their eye.
Hmm.
That's the all-seeing eye, and you will find almost every single celebrity. I often wonder, like when Hollywood burned, there's been rumors for years, not rumors actually, because let's say conspiracy theories, uh, of tunnels underneath all the celebrities' houses.
Yeah,
And
I
actually,
heard of
it's been confirmed because there's a tunnel from Diddy's right to the Playboy Mansion.
Yeah, I heard that there was like a Starbucks
Look
under
up
there.
Ava. Yeah, and isn't it
Castle.
funny that the places that burn down are where those tunnels are? What a great way to get rid of the evidence, isn't it? Ask yourself the question why the man with one red shoe is obsessed with taking thousands of pictures of little shoes and little socks.
Hmm. Hmm.
Cosby's not the only American dad or America's dad that's going down. It's coming. But the point I'm trying to make is that all this is happening. I think it's happening for a reason. And by the way, I love that Mel is now an ambassador, that Sly and Voight and all the rest of those guys. And now Christians like myself, we don't have to hide in the closet anymore. Not that I ever did.
Right.
Chris Pratt, Matthew McConaughey, Frasier, all these things. But it's still there. Now, I will tell you this. This is one thing that I'm going to do my best to stop. I'm sick and tired of my Lord Jesus Christ's name being said in vain as a curse in every single movie, at least, or television show, even one episode, at least 3 times. That's not a coincidence. I even watched the first Jaws with my daughter. I figured that should be okay, right? 14 times Jesus Christ was said as a curse.
Hmm. What do you think the
Look at,
significance of that is?
the satanic. It's always been satanic.
Hmm.
Trust me, I learned how bad Hollywood was. I learned firsthand. Dude, I had those contracts. I had those offers. I was told that if I remember, and I'll tell you, the person I was with, who is now a major producer, and I frankly don't care because shut me down. I do my own stuff now. I don't care. I don't want any money. I'm good. I've got my own home. I got my own house. I'm good. I'm taking care of my daughter, and I thank God every day. But I've seen it personally, and the person that tried to accuse me of abuse was actually arrested for spousal domestic battery. And you've known me. You know my temperament, man. You've known me for how many years,
Yeah.
right?
At least 10.
I'm the most chill guy on the set.
Yes. Always smiles.
Yeah, and I'm always looking to help, right?
Hmm.
So,
Dang.
so it's just I've seen it, and I actually had Christmas Day Mass at Mel's compound, the one that burned down.
Hmm.
So he's not in. Just to be very clear, he's not involved, but so many others are. And we need to stop saying it's okay. We need to like I loved. Did you see Thunderbolts?
No.
Good flick, but again, at least 3 times.
Hmm.
And I'll tell you, Lewis Pullman, and if it wasn't a Marvel movie, he probably would get nominated. Deserves an Oscar for Century.
Okay.
I was really pleasantly surprised because it was a message of hope, and it wasn't just. I mean, all the other crap was just really bad. The only thing was, Daredevil. The new Daredevil was good. I always loved Daredevil,
Well,
but the biggest thing,
that's on Disney, right?
yeah, Oh, you got to watch it, bro. Really good. Did you watch the original on Netflix?
I watched some of it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good series. Oh, The Punisher. John Bernthal
Yeah.
is
Gerald
completely.
Bernthal as a Punisher is a killer, man.
Dude, he actually he did me such a solid, and I didn't even think the guy remembered. Um, I did Grudge Match where he was playing, I think, De Niro's dad or somebody's son, right? And we were just in the background. Our job was just to pop, 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 hit the bag a little bit.
Hmm.
And he himself came over and he was like, "Hey, you really know what you're doing?" I said, "I try." He goes, "Yeah," and he's like, he starts like just playing around, just being like a dude,
Hmm.
And I didn't think anything of it. And he said, he's up. I've seen you somewhere. And I said, "Oh, I've been on House of Cards and things like that." And I figured the guy didn't know me from Adam, right?
Hmm.
So he was doing The Walking Dead and he was playing Shane. Now, my oldest daughter, Rachel, at the time, she was 16, 15, 6, no, she was 16, I think. And she's a huge Walking Dead fan. So we're in this huge line that's almost across the entire floor to see Shane, which was John.
Right.
As we get closer, I see him just kind of look over and like give him, coming. He looks at me and he's like that the recognition, like, hey, how you doing? And just tells me to come forth with my daughter.
Hmm.
And it was just so cool. And people was like, who's this dude? That they just did that. And he bring it up me and he goes, House of Cards, right? Grudge match. I said, yeah. Because you still, you still hanging and banging. I said, yeah. He said, oh, who's this lovely lady? I said, this is my daughter, Rachel. He goes, oh, very nice to meet you, Rachel. And she's just like, she would like couldn't believe it. And he's like, you want a picture? I said, yeah. She's got a picture somewhere. I don't know where it is. And he puts his arms around us, and the guy goes to take the money. He goes, the friends of mine, get away, can shush him away. He didn't have to do that, but that
Right.
told me a hell of a lot about who he was, you
Dude.
know, and that he really mattered, and how he did the Punisher, bro. A little too close to home sometimes, but very authentic, very authentic. Yeah, great. That's the best portrayal of the Punisher, bar none, bar none, and he deserves all the accolades.
I never read the comic books. I didn't read any comic books on anything. Like I'm not a comic books guy, but I
Sacrilege. Now I'm bobbing back and forth. Look at me. But this is all audio, right?
no, I mean it's video on YouTube, but it's audio on Apple.
Oh, I got
So
you.
so
Oh, what was that you mentioned? Apple?
yeah, yeah. And iHeart Radio, your favorite.
You're on iHeart?
Yeah, yeah.
How'd you pull that one off, brother?
I did it all the way. I've been doing this show since 2017, and I submitted it all the way back then, and it's still on there since then.
Fantastic. Don't let them know you're not liberal. You'll
Well,
disappear too. I'll be like, what happened to Cory? Cory was doing so well. But the industry is the industry is changing, which thank God. And
I like to operate in a gray zone where it's like I'm not really affiliated in any way with anything. Really, like I I operate in this gray zone. I call it gray fabe, where it's like not everything has to
kayfabe.
be dualistic. Not everything has to be all good or all bad or all right or all wrong. There's these areas for growth inside of understanding and learning. Um,
Of
that
course,
not
of course.
everything
And
is
let me explain something to you.
good.
I can't hear you. Can you hear me? You froze up again.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, I understand that, and that's the thing. I like that. I will talk. I have friends of mine, family members that are really just. Eesh. I was told I was Hitler. I was a Nazi. All this stuff. This is my own family,
Right.
and I just said, I'm not going to deal. I'm not feeding into this crap. But this is the problem that everything is in it. You're absolutely right. It's an extreme. Everything is an extreme. You can't agree to disagree. You can't have, just simple intercourse anymore. And I'm not just talking dialogue. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Because
I mean,
the extreme, and it was designed like this. It was designed like this because they don't want us to be together. Because if we come together, they're done. So they want to keep divide and conquer, right?
I mean, I'm an entertainer.
But
All the things
it's
that I'm
interesting
trying to.
you mentioned Apple TV.
Yes. But we're all gonna, you know, we're all gonna feel like at some point, especially the people who are like in the extremes you're talking about, gonna feel like a lot of regret for how they treated family members or alienated family members who didn't all the way agree with them on something that they don't agree with all the way now. Like you can't like plant your feet in the sand and not budge on the fact that like you have room to be wrong about stuff too. Yeah, I think you hung up. I think you froze up on me.
Gotcha. You thought I
Were you
froze up,
acting?
didn't you?
Yeah, you were
I was
acting.
acting. That's correct. I was acting.
Acting.
I was acting.
But
Yeah, I taught in DC. I taught acting and things like that too. And the biggest thing
right,
and the hardest thing to teach somebody is not to act.
right, yeah.
You know that,
It's supposed to appear as if
and
it's a spontaneous conversation, uh, not like scripted out, recited thing.
right,
And that's
right,
the biggest challenge
and
for everybody.
right. Here's the thing, and I would tell my students this too. I would say, okay, you're you're talking to your best friend, and I said, would you really say something like that to your best friend? And they were like, no. I said, well, I just told you you're talking to your best friend. Act like you're talking to your best friend. Acting natural is the hardest thing. I can't
Right.
remember who said it. Um, but one of the famous acting coaches said this: if I see you acting, you've lost. If I know you're acting, you've lost me. And I forget who Ivana Chubbuck was what she had said, and I love this. Is she said the actor and the 8-year-old do not know the actor and the child do not know where reality begins and fantasy ends. Think about it. When you were a kid and you were playing knights, you could get a toilet paper roll, and that would be you would see a sword, right?
I mean, a toilet paper roll was a really short sword. Maybe like a paper towel roll. Like that was a
Okay,
sword.
all right, hey, gift
Yeah,
wrap.
yeah. Gift wrap, a sword. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, smart ass.
Perfect. Perfect.
But that's the thing. You have to. I don't believe in method. I don't like method.
Right.
Um, I've had to do it. I did that for the arc when I played the alcoholic cop.
Mhm.
That was probably and that particular. If you can get something like that that's against your type,
Mhm.
that is that is what you need. Because you know me, I was always the strong. I was always the hero, the villain, or whatever.
Mhm.
But there was no shade to gray. Like, and I think I sent it to you. Did I send you Last Laugh?
It, it sounds very familiar. It sounds like it's something I've watched, but I can't. I can't.
That was a very complicated character, and it was very human, and I love playing that. But going back to the arc, playing that character, a lot of that was my dad. A lot of that character was an homage to my dad.
Okay.
When he was breaking down, and he was because the whole thing was he promised his son that he would not, and he was an alcoholic,
Hmm.
and he promised his son that he would stay home and protect him because there were all these serial killers or demons or whatever running around. And so he made that promise to his son. But one day he finds a bottle of vodka on his doorstep, and he finishes that off, and he ends up in a bar. And because he did, and when he comes back, his whole family was slaughtered. They set him up.
Wow.
So when he breaks down in that AA meeting, um, and my dad
Yeah.
felt that way too. My
That
dad
sounds
felt,
familiar now that you're saying it was in the meeting. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And some people said, "Well, he was too emotional. You went over the top with that." I said, "No, I just let it flow."
Right.
Yeah, Last Laugh. I got to send that to you. It's kind of like Sin City meets Seven,
Hmm.
and I'm tracking down a serial killer clown. Christian Chase is really good in that. And you need a guy to do with Jack Nicholson. He looks like freaking Jack, and he actually did. He played him in off Broadway on a one flew over the cuckoo's nest.
Okay.
Great guy.
Nice.
So, yeah, my career's been awesome, man. My career's been awesome.
Great.
Oh, hold on a second. I just realized I cut my light.
Cut my light. Cut my light into pieces.
How come you've never? There we go. Is that better?
It's the same. I mean, I wasn't paying attention to the light, but uh, I guess that looks better. Yeah, sure.
Hold on. There we go. How's that? Better
This
or
looks great.
worse?
Yeah, it looks great.
All
What were you asking me, James? How come I
right. I
never
don't know.
what?
I'm just listening to your rendition there. Yeah.
You
Alyssa must
asking me
go.
how come I never
Alyssa must go. That's nice, hon.
all the time. Yeah. Yeah. Mhm. Or she goes,
Why did you teach you to sing?
she pulls her phone out and she goes, "Can you say that again?" And she'll start recording me, and then she'll send it to her friends. Look what he said. No, I
Yeah.
mean the I wouldn't I wouldn't task her with that challenge to teach me to sing. It's not it's not my greatest desire. I have other things to feed my spirit.
Does she ever say, honey, okay, all right, sure.
But
Does she kind of ask you to maybe not?
yeah, well, it'll
Or is
be
she
like
going
this
to like, you're so great at all these things, but that.
when I go, oh, this song stuck in my head, and I'll like go to sing it to her. She'll be like, I bet you I know it, but I don't know it by you singing it because
That's a mic drop right there.
right. So I mean,
Honey, did someone drop a bag of cats off a bridge?
yeah, it goes, yeah, you're very talented at a whole bunch of things. Stick to those. No, she doesn't roast me like that. I'm messing around. I'd roast myself. I
And
most of the
that's
time.
look, I'm like I said, I'm like that too. I'm not perfect. Like I said, I don't have subscriptions. I have issues. So there are things that I've done that I've like. Do you ever do a role where you watch yourself and you're like, why did I do it that way? Or
All the time. Yeah. Well, like where you
Yeah,
go, like, "Oh, if I could do it all over again, I would do it." Oh,
yeah,
like that
right.
they or like they went with that take. Oh man, I wasn't happy with
Oh
how
yeah,
I was
yeah,
performing it yet. Oh, like,
yeah.
yeah, I
What's
know.
hard for me? What's hard for me is that I've been invited to different premieres by different people,
Right.
and then afterwards they're like, "Hey, what'd you think?" I'm like, "You made some interesting choices there." Well, I got a role for you in the sequel. I said, I got to check my schedule. I don't want to be mean, but at the same time,
This is something I learned about through wrestling, through like taking bookings. So if I take a booking and so many parts of the booking were a pain in my butt, if
mhm.
they ask me to come back to take that booking again, I'll change the idea, like change whatever the amount of the payday is, change whatever like a whole bunch like, oh well, now I need a hotel room. Oh, now I need this extra accommodation that would like prevent me having that same pain in the butt thing I had the
Did they
first
pay
time.
you for that?
Yeah, I mean that if that's something that if that's something that I'd want changed, then I would, and if they're serious about wanting me to come back, they'd have to do those things. You know,
How are you? How are you as far as injuries? You doing all right?
I'm great, man. I don't. I mean, I'm I'm not. I let me knock on wood. No
Oh yeah,
injuries.
I don't want to jinx. I don't want to jinx you.
I mean, I've been at it for longer than most people,
Right.
and my body's stayed healthy, and I'm probably in better shape.
Well, your attitude too, and you stay away from the drugs and the drink and all the rest of that stuff, and
Right.
which unfortunately is part of the road. Um,
Are
but
you a
for me,
wrestling fan
for
at
my,
all?
I'll give you an example. And this wasn't because I had to; it was just a personal choice. I've I haven't had a drink in over 14 years now, bro,
Wow.
and I feel so much better. I look so much better, and it was never really me. It was more like a peer pressure thing. You know, when you were out at the different events. Was it you or somebody was telling me they no longer do the events at the Dave and Buster's, huh? The
Which events?
the uh, the film things.
Oh yeah, I I
Somebody
don't
was
think that
recently
I
telling
don't
me.
think that bar's back there anymore. Like
Oh, really?
I don't think that they have that. I think it might be something else now. I'm not sure even what it is. I don't. I haven't heard of. I haven't heard of MPEG. Hang on, my train's going by. It's
Yeah,
very
that
loud.
was it. That was it. That was what they told me. MPEG, and I'm like, what's MPEG? I mean, and it's not. It's not that I'm not. I'm downplaying anything. There's some really great actors. And that's another thing too that really used to frustrate me is that there are a lot of people that do indie films and they say, "Oh, it'll be great for your reel," and then they never give you the reel.
Right.
They never
Well,
give you the reel. Like the late great
there is
Wayne Shear, like the late great Wayne Shear. You know, he. I saw him in something, and I always saw him in background,
right.
and I was like, "Dude, I could have used you for this."
Mhm.
You know, and that's another thing is I noticed that a lot as we get older, a lot of the people we ran with, especially with me that I ran with and served with, they're no longer around. So I thank God every day that I have the ability to do that. And it's funny, Cory. The thing is that when I came back, when I found out what my ex was doing to her own daughter for over 20 years, I she because of all the abuse and unfortunately even sexual SA. I don't want to get you off YouTube. Um, I gave it all up because this is my child.
Right.
And I was told I'd never work again. I turned down all these different contracts, um, Atlanta, all the rest of that crap. And honestly, COVID actually saved me in a lot of ways. COVID. If you want to talk about COVID? Look at the official White House uh, website, and it was all BS. It was all totally BS, and everybody should be answering for that. But the point is that I was supposed to go to Canada. I was actually in high demand in Canada. And I'll tell you this also. When you are a straight actor and you're an alpha, there is like a game to try and diddy you.
Well, I mean, you could be seen as fresh meat. You could be seen as a
Exactly.
challenge.
Yeah, that was it. Oh yeah, yeah. I can't tell you how many times I've had directors that say to me, "Hey, like my my manager would say, hey, they really love you for this part. All you got to do is go talk to him and his wife in his hotel room. They just want to party with you a little bit." I'm like, whoa, I'm sorry, what? So it makes you, dude, it's all, yeah, yeah, exit only, baby. And they will try. And the reason that they like me in Canada so much is that there are very few men that are men. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you know exactly what I'm talking, and I'm not saying everybody's like that, but you've got the what's the word they call them males? Not what is it? Anyway, but
I don't like the phrase, but I'm about to say it. Are you talking about cisgender males? Um,
yeah,
straight
bite, bite my
cisgender.
hairy. Yeah, let me tell you something. Bite my hairy Irish ass. I don't go for that crap. There are two genders. If you want to identify as that, that's fine.
Yeah.
But don't push that on my children. Don't push that as an agenda. Don't. If what you do in the privacy of your own home is your business. But when you're affecting children, and the whole brain, they've been brainwashed, bro. And now they say that there's hormones in the milk. Did you know Skittles changes your DNA?
What does it change it to?
Good question.
Something from the rainbow?
Isn't it funny that they say taste the rainbow?
Ah.
Makes sense now.
Ah.
I don't know if that is exactly what it does, but these foods, they are designed this way, bro. They want to make you sick. They don't, if you're healthy, they lose money. Like the pharmaceutical industry is flipping out because Trump just did the executive order dropping all the medication prices.
Mm-hmm.
So he's anyway we're getting off track here. But so you
Oh,
were
so
asking me about
we were talking about you going 14 years ago. You just were like, yeah, I'm not drinking anymore. That's it. Like, you just, whatever. I'm done with it.
yeah.
And
I
it
will
was
tell you, God has his timetable,
right.
and I will tell you, and you probably saw it. They literally tried to kill me. Literally tried to kill me. They accused me. They put false charges on me, which I proved were not true. And yeah, man, it was just crazy stuff. And I can tell you this: almost daily, I was told that if I really loved especially when I turned them down, and because of the fact I knew too much, I knew about the real fixers. I knew the reason that celebrities love Indian casinos because there's no extradition.
Mm.
And because I knew all that and I wasn't going to play the game, they tried to destroy me in every possible way. Waking up with, pants around my ankles and someone taking pictures of me. That's what they do. I proved it was bullcrap. I caught them before they could do anything. But I've been in those situations, and it's not a joke. It is all real. Hollywood, by its very nature, is satanic. The holly tree. You know what holly tree is? It's what they make magic wands of.
Okay.
Valentino's wife was a medium.
Who?
You know, the Latin lover from this, all of them. Okay, you were just talking about Stephen King, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why the hell is this guy not canceled for writing a scene where a bunch of preteen children, boys, run a train on a preteen girl?
I don't remember that scene, but that's disturbing.
Read the book It. And he defended it.
He was on lots of drugs when he was writing those books.
Dude, he's one of them. But why was he not canceled?
Yeah, there's plenty of things that make you wonder why Stephen King's not canceled. He's written about lots of stuff that like nobody could get away with these days.
But I'm telling you, right now, and tell your audience this too, test me on it. You know, I'm giving you receipts. Ask your AI. He actually defended it.
Who did?
Stephen King, he defended it.
Mm.
Why was Epstein? Why was Clinton 27 times to Epstein's island without his security, his Secret Service detail? Why did Epstein have a huge picture of Clinton in the Monica Lewinsky dress?
That's very strange.
In his New York apartment. That's to say, I own you.
Yeah.
And this girl, Jeffrey, did you hear she killed herself by shooting herself in the back of the head? Explain that one to me.
Who's that? Who did that?
Virginia Jeffrey, the girl that talked out, who was testified against Andrew, Prince Andrew.
Okay.
She just killed herself, supposedly.
First
by shooting herself in the back of the head. Explain that to me. Explain that to me. How does she shoot herself in the back of the head several times? Look at the Clinton kill count. It's crazy. Why were we funding the BBC? We were the main funding for the BBC. USAID. Elon brought that out. I'm going to tell you what's happening in Britain, what's happening in Germany, in Spain, and France, and all that. That's exactly what would happen in our country if Kamala got elected. So the point I'm trying to make is that these are all the rabbit holes. Diddy, there's more with Diddy. Odell Beckham is on video.
Mm-hmm.
Odell Beckham is on video where at one of the parties, and who pops up from underneath his legs? Justin Bieber going like this and stoned out of his mind.
These are some deep rabbit holes that we could find ourselves in.
I love rabbit holes. All right. So
do you ever find yourself?
I think we should do another Dracula. We should do more on this, but I want to ask my conservative base, my base, to help, because I'm especially with me, I'm probably going to get the old cancel thing, which is fantastic because they did that to a friend of mine, and she's up to 1 million followers and more. So it's a movie. These are the kind of movies that I'm going to do. In my movies, Lex Ray Productions and Glow Films, you are never going to find cussing. You don't need it. No Lord's name in vain, ever. ever. It's only going to be in prayer. And Christians are not going to be crazy. They're not going to be villains or the butt of jokes. That crap is over with. Hollywood is pretty much done, dude. So many people are leaving Hollywood. And especially now with the fires, it looks like a bomb dropped there. And but you keep electing Democrats, you're going to keep getting this crap. There was water. There was water coming down from Canada, which Trump now opened the floodgates again. There was the reservoirs, the reservoir tanks, they were empty. The firemen had no water. I mean, you look at that. Look at Lahaina. What happened out there? And here's the thing. In Hawaii, Oprah Winfrey, this great humanitarian, right? Why does she have her own farm, huge estate, didn't offer anything to Lahaina? She tried to get a fundraiser together. She had all the fruit, she had all the vegetables, everything.
I was weirded out and continue to be weirded out by the theory
why did all the places with blue roofs not get burned?
That's what I was about to bring up.
Cars,
all the blue stuff.
Where did the children go? Did they really do you think they all got vaporized? So the point I'm trying to make is this is not a fight of just left versus right. This is good versus evil, bro. This is good versus evil. And that's why they hate me, because I will say what I need to say. Like the whole drone thing, the whole drones in Jersey and all that, right. That was us. That was us. I have friends in a certain 3-letter organization that confirmed it. It was a psyop. Jake Hughes, who is a former naval intelligence, great guy. You should really check his stuff out. It's interesting. Like whenever you're looking at a video, he will tell you where he sees deception. But he said, you always want to look at what's going on other than that. And what was drone, right? The drones? What was going on during that? Biden gave $80 billion back to Iran. He pardoned Hunter. He pardoned all these criminals. He pardoned his whole family. He pardoned Fauci. All these things. But everybody was focused on the UFOs and the drones, right? You see my point? Here's the thing.
Do you ever deep dive into Mandela effects?
A little bit. But I think that I know what you're talking about. Because there's certain things that I remember. But again, I don't know about that. You know that they just came out and said that they have time travel.
Who said that?
One of Trump's leading scientists. And Trump himself said, we don't worry about China. We don't worry about all that because we have technology that you wouldn't even believe. The guy that owns Skinwalker Ranch did an interview one time. And he said, we have stuff now, and this is years ago, that would make George Lucas envious. You think Space Force wasn't around for years? Mm. This is an excuse, bro. This is an excuse to explain what's going on. Mm-hmm. It's all real. Now they just found the Elon, Tesla just came up with a game changer in the electronic vehicle industry. It's going to change everything. There's so many things, man. And like I said, I'm not on Rumble yet, but I should be.
Yeah, you absolutely have to be.
Yeah. It's just, there's too many things. Okay, our new Pope, God bless him. Are you ready for this? Not only is he American, he's a Republican. He voted straight Republican since the first time since Trump was president. Now, he doesn't like the whole thing with the immigration, which is completely understandable. But you know what I loved? And here's the thing. In the Catholic tradition, there is a cave in Italy, right? Where St. Michael appeared. And it's a big apparition, right? And there's a cave dedicated to St. Michael. That feast day, when it happened, was the day that Leo was elected. Pope Leo, the first Pope Leo, had a dream where he heard Satan and Jesus talking. And Satan said to Jesus, "Give me 1,000 years, and I will corrupt them. I will destroy your church." That's what he said. Actually, he said, "I will destroy your church." And he said, "How much time do you need?" 1,000 years. When Pope Leo had that, he dedicated one of the most powerful prayers, which is the St. Michael prayer. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you another thing. You know The Exorcist? The real Exorcist?
Not your uncle.
Not my uncle. Not my uncle. No, the movie with Roy with Batty Road. Okay? Right. It was based on a real case.
Okay.
And do you know one thing? Unlike the movie, we won. St. Michael came and freed this guy. And this guy lived to become a family and everything. They're not even trying to hide it. Look at Lady Gaga on the SNL. That was a freaking satanic mass.
That was very weird. Very, very.
Flat out. Huh?
That was very weird. Very, very weird.
Yeah. Look what they did at the Grammys. They're not even trying to hide it anymore. Because I mean there is a festival in when they did the Hadron Collider, right? And this is unreal. They had this. Prince Charles is there. Everything for the opening of it. And was it Peru or I forget where it was? No, they had a festival where
CERN is in Switzerland. The large Hadron Collider. I'm pretty sure it's in Switzerland.
Yeah. You there?
Yeah.
You know what they have?
What's that?
A bull. A bull they're sacrificing. It's a giant bull.
Wow.
That's Moloch. That's Moloch. That was what the Babylonians did. Mm-hmm. And in the procession, they have Satan beating the living crap out of Jesus. And everybody cheering, including the royal family. So much for talking about the movie.
Yeah, dude. Have you seen this?
I can. We can do that another time.
This church in the UK is doing biblical stories in the form of pro wrestling. They're throwing Bible stories through pro wrestling in their church. Like they have a ring and wrestlers. They're coming and doing matches, telling biblical stories in the ring and like filling the church.
I don't know about that.
It's awesome, man. I think it's great. I want to be a part of that.
So all I gotta know is our Lord given the smackdown. Dude, that's where you need to go. You're their Jesus.
Yeah, be Jesus character.
That's what you got. You got to call him and say, "Hey, I got a wrestler that looks just like Jesus."
So I would like
There
to
you
do
go.
just a couple more quick things, James,
A
and then I'll
part
send it
two?
off to the sunset with a hot dog and a handshake.
Yeah,
And
I
we'll
got
do
to
a
get to
part
another
two later
meeting.
on.
Yeah.
Just want to tell you, man, I appreciate your time, appreciate your effort. I hope we can do another one of these very soon.
It's
I love
great
you.
connecting with an old
I hope
friend. You and
everything goes
Alyssa.
great.
I
Yeah,
love you too. Not in his and we're not buying his and his towels or
no,
changing
no,
our any of that crap.
friend. As a friend,
But no,
that's it.
you know, Alyssa and you have been one of my oldest friends. We've
Yes.
known each other. I remember working with Alyssa when I was the zombie bouncer at Fright Factory.
Okay. Yeah. So that was like 20 years ago or something.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, very long time.
All right, man. Hey, wish you nothing but success. And if you want to share this on my YouTube and my TikTok, if your fans want to look me up, it's real actor James Donahue on YouTube, and on TikTok it's actor James Donahue.
Yeah, nice.
And my
Thanks, man.
Instagram, I got to remember what that is. Hold standby. I'll tell you what it is. Yeah, I'll send. We can do that on the part two,
I'll
and then we'll
put it
really
in.
get into the movie and stuff like that. Because then by that time everything will be blowing up.
All right. Thanks, James.
All
Have a
right,
great
brother.
night. All right. Bye.
Yeah, send me a copy. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Later.